to cultivate a culture of integrity, knowledge, and collaboration by empowering school nutrition professionals to serve nutritious meals, fuel student success, and build thriving communities. My name is Josh Nutley, and as Marlia said, and I'm the State Director of School Nutrition. I help bridge the gaps between school nutrition and other departments throughout the state and federal levels. Today, we're going to have a state director updates, some compliance updates, program updates, and regional updates. So, a little bit about the welcome here. welcome to fall, everybody. Hopefully the temperatures stay down and allow us to actually have a fall this year. But I know today is a beautiful day. And so one of the things I ran across last week, I believe, is I saw this quote and I wanted to share it. It says, "Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the little voice at the end of the day that says, 'I will try again tomorrow.'" And I think, for me, I think for a lot of us, we want to see quick changes in our programs. However, I believe that for our students and our staff, consistency is what will enable us to persevere even through tough times. And then we'll roar as time goes on. So really, I just hope as a state agency family that we can help empower you to serve nutritious meals, empower you to fuel student success, and empower you to build thriving communities, and over time help your programs roar. So this is not on the agenda, but I wanted to talk just briefly about the shutdown. So as you may recall, we recently sent out a message on listserv regarding the federal shutdown. We received some funds prior to the shutdown to help get us through October. So if we hear more from the USDA, we'll send that message out to everyone as soon as possible. We did receive some FFPP funds today, so there are still some federal employees working and providing support, and so that's good news. Next slide. So agenda today, we're going to talk a little bit about S&P Academies, some reviews for this year, Coordinated School Health Institute conference, In Hunger Task Force that I'll be presenting on Monday, some progress on goals, and then the state director and procurement groups that we're a part of. So for the first one, S&P Academy, just great seeing everybody and hearing your concerns and what you'd like the future of school nutrition to look like. I think it's great to start this school year just with an informative and exciting conference. So just thank you for being there, and thank you just for all your comments. I've read through, as I mentioned before, I try to read through all the comments, and we had 333, I believe, comments. And so my team and I will ensure that we take what you said and utilize what we've heard at the conference to create an even better conference next year, if that's even possible, because this one was just truly exceptional. And so again, I just want to thank my team and the work they put into this conference because they just did such a wonderful job. The next thing is reviews. I just wanted to briefly talk about that. We've already started some of the reviews and completed a few. Just a reminder that, we're not out to be gotcha people, but to be there to provide support. I also wanted to show the number of reviews that we have this year that have to be done in less than a year. So if we're a little bit slower on emails, this is why. 46 administrative reviews and 44 procurement reviews we have to complete by the end of the school year. Next thing I want to talk about is Coordinated School Health Institute. So the Coordinated School Health Institute, it strengthens Tennessee's national leadership in school health by equipping educators, school nutrition directors, health professionals, and district leaders with the knowledge and strategies needed to foster healthier school environments. It's going to be on March 4th through 6th, and so if you want to work with your Coordinated School Health coordinator to register, because space will be limited. Also, just want to point out that this is a free conference, minus your travel expenses. So just be looking for more information to come on that. Another thing I wanted to talk about briefly is just the In Hunger Task Force. I mentioned it a few times, but I don't think I ever explained what it is. The purpose of the task force is to develop a strategic action plan to eliminate childhood hunger in Tennessee by increasing quality nutrition, streamlining state agency coordination, and strengthening public-private partnerships. So when I was creating my slides on this, I wanted to ensure that I emphasize the work that you all do and the significant contributions you make to the success of students at your schools. So I think I'm presenting this a little bit out of the box in comparison to other state agencies that have already presented. But I really wanted everyone on that call to understand how hard you all work and show the impact you have on students. So I'm looking forward to that presentation, and that is on Monday at around 1 o'clock. So looking forward to that and just showing the impact that you all have on our students in Tennessee. I mentioned at S&P Academy that I'm always going to give you an update on our goal progress. So here I am again talking about goals. I mentioned that we have three main areas that our goals fall under this year: foundational, support, and external engagement. For our foundational goal, we have collaborated with two states on a new SFA checklist. Sorry. Um, we have collaborated with the two states on a new SFA checklist. This is going to be for new SFAs joining our program. We've already created a backup cross-training list for all of our staff to ensure we have backups for the entire team. And then for our support goal, we have visited some other states. Kind of mentioned that at S&P Academy, but Gary and Mike will be going to Alabama next month, so we're excited about that. And then I mentioned that we have a bi-monthly meeting with Grant and the Department of Agriculture. And one of the things we just did recently is we transferred over $1 million to, or exactly $1 million to Ag to help reimburse you all for storage costs associated with USDA foods in your schools. Another thing is you should be seeing that that amount that for the storage fees you should be seeing. I think in November or December that should be coming. So be on the lookout for that. For our engagement goal, we recently visited Kingsport City. They had a ribbon cutting for a first in the nation launch of utterly cold mobile milk dispenser. So it was just a great event to be part of. So thank you to Kingsport for inviting us to that. We also visited Signal Mountain Middle High School. So, and then another goal of ours is external engagement, and that's to champion our programs. And we recently achieved this by modifying language in the State Board of Education policy. So as you can see, even though we're only a month into our goal cycle, our team has been hitting the ground running on their goals. And so I'm just excited about everything we're going to accomplish this year. And then lastly, I have state director and procurement groups. And so just wanted to mention again that I'm part of this state director group that meets regularly, but they recently created this platform that allows us to ask questions and to kind of connect more with one another and share resources. And so this is huge because it allows us to share those resources faster and hopefully get you all more resources and more trainings because we do have now that connection. Also shared that in the past that I'm part of a procurement advisory group with the Urban School Food Alliance. And part of this group's plan, which began, I think, 2 years ago, was to select SFAs in a few states to pilot different procurement methods and help procurement efficiencies. And I want to just celebrate that our very own Hamilton County has been selected for this pilot. And is one of, I believe, 5 in the entire country that's been selected. So thank you, Hamilton County, for representing Tennessee. And then lastly, I'll just be going back to DC in February to finish up this procurement group. And what's awesome about finishing this up is they're going to be rolling out a national bid template. I know for a lot of you, you've wanted some sort of bid template that you could utilize for procurement. And so that should be coming out soon. So I'm excited to see where this next year takes us. But also to all the work that Elizabeth is doing as well to help you all be more successful in procurement. So just wanted to share those things and looking forward to a great year.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Randa Mead. I'm the Senior Compliance and Data Manager, and I'll be sharing some updates today. I'm going to go over, don't have a ton of updates, but I'll share what I do have. I have some administrative and procurement review updates, a couple of recent USDA policy memos, and then a quick reminder about Medicaid, which is not on my agenda, but it's in the slides. So just some review updates. We have, as Josh said, begun our administrative and procurement reviews for the year. If you haven't heard from your lead reviewer, I know I have a couple of draft emails that are in my inbox to send out. But if you haven't heard, you should be hearing very soon from your lead reviewer to get especially those procurement reviews underway, and all of the administrative reviews are scheduled for the year. We have fully completed 19 CEP ISP validation reviews, and we have 17 more in progress. This, I think, has changed. I've seen some closing letters come through my inbox recently, but that was the data as of the day I made this slide. And then all of the administrative reviews for established SFAs have been scheduled. We still have a few new SFAs that are in the process of coming onto the program, and so those reviews have not been scheduled this year yet. Um, We've had some questions around Medicaid benefits and who qualifies. So I just wanted to go over this reminder quickly so that you have it in case you get questions. But in order to be directly certified for free or reduced price meals because of participation in Medicaid, the student must be found on the data list downloaded from TMAC. And our qualifications for receiving free or reduced price meals are: for free meals, they have to be at or below 130% of the federal poverty level. For reduced price meals, they have to be at or below 185% of the federal poverty level. And then Medicaid varies depending on different conditions and groupings. Some groups can receive Medicaid and be at 250% of the federal poverty level. So we the way that the list works is Medicaid takes the income information and then applies our income eligibility guidelines. And so we only receive the Medicaid free or reduced. That does mean that some children or families have Medicaid or TennCare benefits and their income exceeds the cutoff for free or reduced price meals, and then they won't be on our list. So it is very possible for a student to receive Medicaid benefits and not be on the direct cert list. I know sometimes you get a call and they'll say, like, we have TennCare, we need free meals, but it doesn't exactly work that way. So just wanted to give you this reminder of how that works in case you are getting those questions at the beginning of the school year. And then we have some recent USDA policy memos from either our last call, or some might have been before our last call, but they didn't make the cutoff for getting our PowerPoint approved. So we have three that we haven't covered yet, and that is SP 16 2025, fresh fruit and vegetable funds for fiscal year 2026. SP 17 2025, reimbursement of offsite meal consumption, and then SP 18 2025. I do not have a follow-up slide on SP 16 2025 because that basically says you guys got this amount of FFEP dollars, and then Marlia works her magic of deciding how that is all sent out across different SFAs and sites that have applied. So I don't have a follow-up slide on it, but I do have a little bit more information on those other two. So for SP 17-2025 reimbursement for off-site meal consumption, this supersedes FNS Instruction 786-8 Revision 1 reimbursement of off-site meal consumption. So essentially this says that children who are attending a school that participates in the National School Lunch Program, school breakfast program, but leave for part of the day to participate in school functions or extracurricular activities may be provided meals to be consumed off-site. This can include, but is not limited to, field trips, dual credit classes at a local college, work study, and extracurricular activities. The offsite function, though, must occur during typical meal times. The meals must meet all meal pattern requirements. You should always give special consideration to food safety if you're providing meals to be taken and consumed off-site. And then if the student is visiting another site that participates in NSLP or school breakfast, either within or across SFAs, should ensure that the child receives only one breakfast and lunch every school day. So I don't think that this was anything super earth-shattering for us. I think it was more of a reminder of this is possible, and make sure that if you are participating in this sort of thing, that you are paying attention to that food safety aspect and still adhering to the one meal per child per day when it comes to each of those programs. And then USDA created SP 18-2025 guidance on fees for electronic payment services and school meal programs. Yes, we devised our very first and only policy memo for this old policy, and we are still working on updating it to be in line with the updated memo that came out, because this SP 18-2025 rescinded effective immediately SP 04-2025, which was the policy that we had created a memo about. So the updated guidance in SP 18-2025 says that families that choose to use electronic payment services may be charged a fee, but only if the SFAs also offer a free and accessible method for all families to add money to student meal accounts. So I think that clears up some of the confusion of before of do I always have to waive those fees if there is another method? And this clearly states that as long as you are providing a free and accessible method, that the family that chooses to use electronic payment services can be charged a fee. So hopefully that clears up any of the confusion that was around it. It did maintain that families must be notified of available payment options and any associated fees in ways that are easy to find and understand. And SFAs must provide a method of making deposits to student meal accounts to meet the needs of families who do not have access to a computer or do not have a bank account. So you still need to be able to accept cash or check in some way or format, whether that is at the school or by mail. So I think that cleared it up. Like I said, we're working on updating our guidance around that. But there's the summary of the policy memo that came out in the meantime. And then we also wanted to let you know that we have requested and were approved for what USDA calls prospective waivers. And so these waivers essentially allow for non-congregate feeding in emergency situations during the regular school year. So the seamless summer option waivers are available for when school buildings are closed and there is no virtual learning happening. We have non-congregate meal service, so that waives the requirement for meals to be served in a congregate setting and consumed by participants on site. Meal service times, so this waives the specific time requirements for meals. You still have to establish meal times. So lunch doesn't have to be between 10 and 2. You could serve it outside of that time frame if necessary and needed. And then breakfast doesn't have to be at the morning time. So those can overlap and be whenever you decide they will be. But again, the meal time has to be established. It allows for parent and guardian meal pickup. And then it allows for meals to be served at school sites during unanticipated school closures. This one is always a little wonky, but there is a requirement that states that during an unanticipated school closure, you have to serve meals at a non school site. So this allows or waives the requirement that during an unanticipated school closure, meals have to be served at a non school site. Essentially, meals can be served at a school site during an unanticipated school closure. I know that is very kind of all over the place, but y'all know that's how we operate with USDA requirements. So it's good that we have that waiver available to us. Um, and then we also have waivers available for regular NSLP and school breakfast. So this is when school buildings are closed and virtual learning is happening. There was a big change in the state law that says previously, when virtual learning was happening, all of the same services had to be provided. That state law has been changed to say now when safe and practical. And so we are again working on updating our guidance around this because we have this really beautiful flow chart. But with the change of that law, which is honestly a great change, we had to change our guidance. And so it is back in the wonderful communications review process that we all love so dearly. So these waivers say that you can do non-congregate meal service for regular NSLP and school breakfast. It waives the meal service times just like with SSO. It waives the parent guardian or it allows for parent guardian meal pickup just like with SSO. And then a very important one for NSLP and SBP is that it waives the offer versus serve requirement. So if you are doing non-congregate meals and serving to an older population of students, you do not have to implement offer versus serve at lunch. If you find yourself in a situation where you have an unanticipated closure and you need these, reach out to your regional consultant. They'll be able to help you walk through what you need to do and next steps, as you will have to submit our general waiver form to be able to have these waivers and use them. And now I'll turn it over to Marlia.
All right. Thank you so much, Randa. All right. We are going to pause for a moment during this call, and I will enable you guys to turn on your cameras if you would like, since we are about to participate in Tennessee Crunch Day. So let's see here. You should be able to turn on your cameras, and if you would like, we will participate in Tennessee Crunch Day after everyone turns some cameras on, grab your apple, and then we will start. Yep, while you guys are getting situated, I'll introduce myself. My name is Marlia Finch. I'm the Assistant Director here at the Tennessee Department of Education, and I'm here to facilitate this fun Apple Crunch Day. This is the first time we've done it virtually, so this is exciting. I'm glad you could be here with us. All right. For those that want to participate in the crunch, I see cameras on, I see apples, fantastic. We have a couple of people that are going to try to screenshot all of our lovely little squares and our apples. So hopefully we'll get a fun picture and we'll share that out as well after the call. All right. Do we need a countdown? I think so. All right. Happy Tennessee Crunch Day in 3, 2, 1, crunch! All right, we're gonna pause. Did everyone get their screenshot if they could? Now everyone looks like a chipmunk with apples in their cheeks. Yeah, I love it, Brooke. If everyone else wants to throw in your favorite apple in the chat, that could be a fun interactive moment here to let you chew your apple up, and then we'll proceed. All right, I love it. All the nice varieties of apples, fantastic. All right. So thank you so much for participating in Tennessee Crunch with us today. And also, if you are participating at the local level in your districts or personally, please share those videos and stories with us. We'd love to highlight you guys. And we can't share your stories if we don't have anything to share. So please send those in. You can use the link that you find in the bi-monthly updates to send in pictures and stories, or you can just simply email us. Pictures and stories as well. Either way works. All right. Moving right along, in the same vein as Tennessee Crunch Day, it is Farm to School Month. So happy October, happy Farm to School Month. So if you're doing anything great for Farm to School Month, please let Lindsay know. We're happy to come visit. And again, share your stories and highlights. As long as you share it with us and invite us out, we are happy to help encourage Farm to School or help in any way that we can. And then, as you may have heard, our Tennessee Farm to School State Network, it is up and running now. We had our second meeting on October 2nd. So again, it's a network open to school districts, community partners, farmers, basically everyone on the same page when it comes to farm to school and how we can improve it across the state. If you're interested in joining that networking group, please reach out to Lindsay and she can send you the next meeting calendar invite and the link for that. Because the next meeting we have will be held virtually on January 6th. And we are trying to keep those calls quarterly as it is a larger networking group, just to accommodate people's schedules. All right, hot off the press, Junior Chef applications are now open. We will send out the applications with the recap email after this call. So be prepared to get your Junior Chef high school teams ready for this year's competition. And again, that competition will be in March at the Nashville State Community College. So again, we will send all the information and the now open application out after this call. Speaking of more farm to school events and trainings, our Farm to School Institutes, which will be held grand regionally in February, we are looking for presenters. What kind of presentations would you like to see? Or if you have a great project going on that you are partnering with someone and you would like to showcase that and share your best practices, please submit a request for a proposal and we will get you in front of the right audience to showcase your hard work when it comes to farm to school. So we've been sending out the request for a presentation proposal survey, and I will also drop that in the chat as well. So again, if you're interested in presenting at any of the Farm to School Institutes or all three, please reach out and let us know and fill out that form. And then the USDA Farm to School grant applications are also now open. The deadline to submit the USDA Farm to School grant applications is December 5th. And if you have any questions about filling out that application or anything, please reach out to Lindsay. She has a wealth of knowledge and she will be happy to help you. All right, Randa touched on the fresh fruit and vegetable program earlier. Yay, we got funds today. I wanted to highlight a fresh fruit and vegetable program in action that we saw out at Morgan County a couple of weeks ago. And it was also Johnny Appleseed Day. So love the irony that they were also serving apples for Johnny Appleseed Day on Apple Crunch Day. So all the apples. We had the manager, Chastity. She was delivering apples dressed as Johnny Appleseed, and she would go into the classrooms and not only educate about the Johnny Appleseed Day, but also apples and the different types of apples. So that was a really fun way to distribute the fresh apples for the day. All the kids loved her getting into character. So just another creative way to share fresh produce items with kiddos through Fresh Fruit and Vegetable program. And the apples were from a local farmer. It's from Mountain Meadow Farms. Peggy had went and picked up the apples the night before, and then she was delivering them to all the elementary schools the next day. So that was a great way to show that local connection as well. All right, I'm going to put a visual with what Josh has already mentioned about the Kingsport City ribbon cutting ceremony. Again, first in the nation to launch the utterly cold mobile milk dispenser. You can see a picture of it. It has pull-out shelves that hold the milk bags, and then it's a very nice looking, I mean, it's a mobile cart. There are wheels under there, so you can move that whole milk machine if you need it to. There was the news was there, all the things. They had a fun story in the Kingsport City News. So if you would like to learn more about this utterly cold mobile milk dispenser, I'm sure Jennifer Walker in Kingsport City would be happy to answer any questions that you have. And you can also reach out to Cindy Cooper from the Dairy Alliance as well if you have questions. All right, moving right along. So upcoming trainings you may see and that we have going on. We have 3 virtual trainings coming up shortly. So we have the food buying guide on October 23rd. And then we have Grant and Jean from the Tennessee Department of Ag covering USDA foods on October 30th. And then hopefully, if it's confirmed that we have equipment grant funds for this year, we will have the equipment grant virtual training in November. However, this one is tentative as we have not currently received any official confirmation that we will be getting equipment grants, but we will definitely keep you guys posted. We have a few external conferences coming up as well. So there is the Food and Nutrition Conference and Expo, so FNCE, for registered dietitians in the Nashville area next week. And then the Farm to Cafeteria Conference is in December. And then we have the School Nutrition Industry Conference, which is in January in Austin, Texas. So there are a few external conferences. Feel free to look up if you are interested for more professional development opportunities outside of what we offer. And speaking of professional developments and trainings, you may have already noticed that I am not Lexi. Lexi, unfortunately, is no longer with the department. She decided to go and stay home with her new little baby for a little bit. So we're sad to see her go, but we are happy that she is making time for her family at the moment. So you will see my name on trainings or training emails moving forward, and we will be posting for Lexi's position, and we will also send that out on listserv when that position link is available. So stay tuned for that if you are interested. And without further ado, I will pass it off to Jolene for regional updates.
Thanks, Marlia. Good afternoon. I'm Jolene Shear. I'm the Senior Regional Consultant Manager. And I always say I have the privilege of supporting our consultant team, and I really do mean that. I always tell them to make my job easier. A couple general operational updates. I can't believe I'm going to say it already, but we're thinking about next school year already, and we won't see you till January. So be thinking about procurement and school nutrition budgets and planning for next year in the next coming months. And then also commodity processing, preparing bid specifications, contacting potential vendors for food tasting, tests, and developing potential bid documents. And then also determining those amounts to be processed upon the receipt of the commodity surveys in January and February. Grant and Jean have all those specifics, so you'll reach out to them with all things commodities. Verification, 'tis the season. Verification processing must be completed by November 15th. And remember, it needs to be entered in your verification report in TMAC by December 15th. If you did have verification corrective action plan, if that applies to you, that will also need to be submitted to your regional consultant by December 15th. So be sure that you're keeping up to date with all the operational things on our website. We have our operational calendar, and that was updated not too long ago. So it is the most current that's up there. It looks a little different from before. It's a little more detailed, actually. And a couple regional updates. I actually pulled this out because in the S&P Academy survey results, a couple of you had mentioned you thought this was pretty cool that we were doing. So I wanted to give you a little more details about it. So we are doing a state-to-state collaboration built into our team's goals this year. North Carolina graciously accepted Frankie and Leslie. They actually went to a training in June for their, I think it was their new director training or new supervisor training. And Lindsay and Marlene went to Alabama in August. Jennifer checked out Kentucky's training in September. And Brooke is actually planning on going to Georgia here soon. And then Mike and Gary are doing some behind the scenes logistics to try to hit Alabama in November. Different trainings. So we're excited to see basically states operate vastly differently. And I think that's great for our team to see. It's great for a learning opportunity of things we might be able to implement here. So after our team goes to these trainings, they write up a summary, which we share among our leadership team, and pull out things at the end of the year as our goal, pull out things that we can implement here. And that being said, I just want to say I'm really proud of the work that we do with all of our trainings. I think Tennessee offers the most trainings. We really do to our SFAs comparatively. So really proud of the work that we do with all our training things. And we just wrapped up some of our regional meetings. Some of you may have had your regional meeting. Some of you may not yet. Or if you're in South Central, you went today. I hope you're enjoying those. I have reviewed some of their survey results already, and it looks like we had a really good compliment that I just wanted to pull out about our expanded resources and trainings. Thank you for that comment. We have been expanding them. We're still diligently working to expand Teach All and some of our resources on our website, so stay tuned for those. And hopefully those resources can serve you well. That is always the goal, to make your job a little bit easier. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brooke Babs for our district highlight.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well today, and happy Crunch Day. Had to make sure I didn't have any pink lady stuck left in my teeth, but we're going to go forward. Let's move on. All right. I want to highlight a really, really neat school in Hamilton County, Signal Mountain Middle High School. After, I think, around 8 years or so of not operating breakfast, Anthony Moon, the Rock Point area supervisor, decided he is going to take the charge and take the lead in partnering with the cafeteria staff to reintroduce breakfast. Also, that was in the breakfast launch that we attended back in September was Brittany, our content, communications, and marketing guru, and also Marissa Spady, who is the program manager for No Kid Hungry for the state of Tennessee. Let's talk about what's on the menu. It was a build your own breakfast bar. They had breakfast pastries. They had Moo Brew, which was a hit. The goal was to just start small with 50 students coming to eat breakfast. When Brittany reached back out to Anthony to see how everything was going, he told her it doubled just that fast. So I just really want to send a special kudos to Anthony Moon and his team in Hamilton County for relaunching a really successful breakfast. And I look forward to hearing more things to come. So thank you so much for letting me highlight Hamilton County. There's some rock stars.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Brooke. Again, we have lots of rock stars across the state, and please let us know of things that you're doing, and we will gladly come out and highlight you on one of our next quarterly calls. All right. I will give you a couple of minutes to fill out the evaluation link for today's call. Again, as I hope you've noticed, we do take your feedback and we apply it to future training. So these evaluation surveys are great for us to get the information directly from you guys. So I'll give you a minute to either scan the QR code with your phone, or I have now dropped the link into the chat if you prefer just to click on the link to fill out that survey form to get the survey data so we can take it and make our future trainings bigger and better. And at this time, I'll ask if you have any questions, please drop those in the chat and we will get to you. Right, fantastic. Well, I hope this fall weather is really encouraging, and I hope you are either preparing for your fall break or you might currently be on fall break. But thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedules to hop on our statewide quarterly update call today. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out to your regional consultant and we'll be happy to address anything you may have. And without further ado, thank you so much. Here is our general contact information if you need to get a hold of our school nutrition inbox. And I hope everyone has a great day and enjoy this Tennessee Crunch Day as well. Enjoy your fall break and we will see you soon.